So hi everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel Fitness Fit Comedy and welcome again to another episode of book review. So hope you guys are enjoying my book review playlist where every week I come with a new video on a new book that I have read in the past or completed recently, and these books are very essential for self growth, as well as sometimes I review about autobiography and biography of a person too, because we learn many things from a person's biography. And in the last book review, we have seen the book review on a book called Sudok by Phil Knight. So hope you guys have liked my last video, and some of the viewer might have purchased book and read about it. It's really worth to read about that book which I have reviewed in the last section. So today I come with another book review on a book called Atomic Habit. You might have heard about this book. It's greatest book, I would say, on self-growth that ever written in recent time. It is written by James Clear actually. So he have done a lot of research in writing this book. This book is all about the easy and proven way to build good habit and break bad ones. So you can see that this book is 3 million copies sold. So it's not a local book. It's very globally accepted book, and a lot of people have read this book and have so many things from this book. And you could too implement these things which I have written by James Clear in this book. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's now begin it. So let me just give you the brief introduction about the author as well as the content. Then I will go through the review of each chapter that he have written in this book. Okay. So guys, let's now begin it. This is the content. He has actually divided this part, you could say 5 part or 6 part actually. First part is all about introduction, about his story and how he come to write this book and what is the power of habits. There is also one book is Power of Habit. Okay. So yeah. And then he divided this book into 4 parts as first law of habit, first law, second law, third law and fourth law, and at the 6th part of this we have given the advanced practice, okay, which are beyond this 4th law, 4 laws. Okay, you can see that content here, first law, second law, like this. Now first of all, when you begin to read this book, so before I have already told you some book review part that before to take an interest in anything, you must know about the detail of that and how it resembles to you, to your own story that you have built up since the childhood in your brain. So some of the strategic story is always affect us, so from that story we could learn and inspire that those people have some trouble in their childhood but come to that position that they are in the place that inspire us now. So similarly in this book, to take interest in the books and from the atomic habit, let me just, what do you mean by atomic habit? So atomic means, at atom level you can say. So if you just make it phrase, atomic habit means a small habits that could lead to a drastic change in your life. So hope it title itself clear that atomic habit will shape the behavior or the person you become. All depend on the atomic habits. So in first part, introduction part, he have discussed about his story when he was a 13 to 14 years old. He was just get hit by a baseball bat, and the baseball bat directly come into nose and eye part, so that his nose get broken and the eyeball gets stuck out. So you can imagine the horror or the level of injury he have gone through that. So he was rushed to hospital suddenly. Then in the local hospital they asked about his name and the year, and he was lagging behind some 5 to 6 years. So he was actually losing his memory because it hit directly to its brain. So he was immediately rushed to the hospital, and he was no way in a position to surgery to be performed in him. So he was put in ventilator, but gradually he healed in 1 month and they performed the surgery, and it's take another month for him to recover it. But this injury and this life-threatening injury is really changed James Clear, the view of world, how he view this world. Okay, that was his type of story. Now in another part, he have discussed about how he learned about the habit. So he discussed about his college life when he joined Denison's. He discussed that it was his best decision of life. So here he learned about discipline. He used to perform some of the basic habits like keeping the rooms clean and tidy, to study regularly and lift weight in a multiple days in a week, because he wanted to join baseball as his father does before him. So he wanted to join the baseball team, so he worked for that and also work on his grade. All of things is done by the atomic habits that he had developed in his college year, which we have discussed in this part. Okay, you will find it very interesting. And then the third part of introduction, have discussed about why he is writing this book, why, how he come to know, to how he come in the firstly to write this book. So he actually used to write in his website jamesclear.com about some articles, and from that articles view, when he get the more than email subscriber, thousands of email subscriber, then he come to know that he is in a position to inspire many people. So in this way, he come do the research work and start writing this book. So this book is you could call this book a operational manual, and all the things written in this book is scientifically proven actually. No philosophical things is written here. All the proven scientific things that could be performed, that are performed by great people to shape their habit. So author have discussed about that part in here. So now the fundamentals, why tiny change make a big difference. So we have discussed about that part. It is also comments and introduction part. Okay, so here in this part he have discussed about the surprising power of atomic habits, that he have given an example of some coach of cyclist team of Britain, where he have discussed about some one or two coach of. So in this part he have discussed about how the small changes might win that team a gold medal in sport. So in this giving this example, he discuss about the power of atomic habit here. Okay, so in this part you will see they have discussed about the 1% rule. So you could work for 1%. Most of the people in the world think that for major change you need a major effort. Means if you want to become so much, you want to do real, suppose you want to lose 60 pounds of weight, or something like that. So for that you have to do massive effort in a gym. It's not like that actually. You could do just a 1% of, and at the end of the year you have done the 30%, 37% better than the last year. If you just perform 1% good or 1% increase in every day of your lifestyle. Suppose you just work for 15 minutes of day in the first day of week. Suppose you target to lose 50-60 pounds of weight. So it will not happen overnight. No person in the world could say that he will lose 60 pounds of weight in a single day. It's not like that. So here atomic habit play a crucial role. If you just progress for 1% overall, you will see great change in a year or so. So author have discussed about that thing in this part. So he have seen the hyperbolic graph, that how 1% change can increase time and give you the desired result you want. You can see the graph here. So this is all about a tiny single tiny things. Don't set a very big goal. Just work on the small goals and build an atomic habit, and you will definitely reach your goal. You don't have to put so much effort in a single day. Just put 1% per day effort. In a similar way, you can see if you develop a bad habit and you don't perform anything, do less than 1%, then closely decline, and it will tend to zero. There will be no result actually. So here I've discovered about the negative compounding and positive compounding of habits. You can see the distinction here in this book. So it's really a operational manual. You can just go through this book and you can apply this thing in your life. So positive compounding, you can see the positive compounding and negative compounding in this chapter. So I was telling that as I have reviewed The Limitless by James Quick earlier than this, or Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So in all these books are self-guiding book. I have also reviewed one book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. So all these books are operation manual actually. So you not only just read the book, you have to read the book. You can not only just for reading purpose, you can apply this thing in your life, by going through that. So how it actually work? So scientifically speaking, if you just many of you have learned in your earlier science class in their school years that melting of ice is not just flick of a moment type method, like you just put it in an environment, it's meant immediately. It's not happen like that manner. It just took some of the latent energy, and it took some time. Over a period of time, it's just actually melt. So latent heat of fusion actually. So latent heat of fusion melt ice. So it's not a instantaneous process, took some time. So in this way, if you just stack a habit, you have some in the chapter you have this stacking of habit also. So if you just stack some of the habit, and suppose you do something in first day, second day, third day, fourth day, and then when you will reach the threshold, you could plot a graph here actually, like this graph, dumbbell shape graph it's called. So if you just when you reach the threshold, and then automatically it will grow exponentially, means you will the changes can be seen overnight if you work for that on all the way past. So here have also discussed about that. I am discussing about latent heat. So you can see latent potential, you could say that how it's actually grow. You can see the graph. One other important thing about about this book here that he have discussed. So time over result, he have discussed about the curve, which I am discussing with you. So he have also discovered about the forget about the actually goals and focus on system itself. So goal is actually about the result which you want, and system you could say the process that you have gone through to reach that result. So you could imagine, visualize in this way that this is the process and this is your goal. So if you just to reach that goal, you just have to go through the process. So just forget about that goal. Don't only focus on goal. Just focus on the process, all the process that you have, or that you are going. What are the efforts that you are putting into, and which will ultimately result into your goal, into the goal that you want to achieve. So what I mean that success people and failure, the successful people and those who are failed have the same goal. But why are not they able to reach that goal? If they both of them focus on the goal, why are not able to reach them? Because of the system. They don't follow the system. And successful people that just follow the system and they focus on system rather than goal to achieve their goal. So when you will read this more, you will get more sense. It will make more sense. I'm just giving you a rough idea. I have already told you that all the reviews every video I discussed that I've given the reviews of this book because the sole purpose is to encourage you to read those book. Okay, that's my intention. So he have discussed about this part that winner and loser have same goal that I have told you, that achieving goal is only momentary change. So in this chapter he have discussed about the system of atomic habits also. Okay, how we can develop the system. So the second part of this chapter is fundamentals. We are going only on the fundamentals. So second part is how your habits shape your identity. So how your habits shape. This is the one of the interesting chapter, I would say. So you will learn many things from this chapter. I personally learned many things from the chapter that he have written here. It's really changed my mindset. Why it is so much important. Let me show you that. Okay, so in this part he have designed a Venn diagram. You all have learned about Venn diagram, sets, A union B, something like that in your mathematical part. So yeah, from mathematics you learn many things. So he have applied those things, and it's very easier to prove. And you could what I can say, accuracy of what you are saying through mathematics, through the aid of mathematics, you could really prove things which you are saying. It's easier to prove that way. So, and it is also the accepted, validated, and it is mathematics language is accepted worldwide. So I've discussed about that. So here have discussed about the 3 layer of behavioral change actually. One is outcome. The outer layer is outcome. You can see. Let me show you. Outer layer is outcome. What are the outcome goals you want to? And inner layer is a process, and the last layer, you could say, last layer is all about identity. So these are the 3 layers, and identity is the most deeper layer. Outcome based is like first are like the setting of goal, like you set goal of losing weights, so winning a championship or something, complete a book, anything. So it is outcome based habit. So you just make a habit of like so you are doing the exercises, you are performing, you are just working in a gym because you just for a mere outcome that you want to lose weight. So these are outcome based behavior. You just change your behavior for the outcome only, and these are short term behaviors also, because once you achieve that goal, some of the people stop working at the gym because they achieve their goal. So it is outcome based behavior. And second part is process. It's about changing your habit and system. Like you have to go through the gym to just you make it the process of going to the gym, and just forget about the goals. Just you make a as your daily routine, you just go to the gym. So this is part of a system or process. So this is process based behavior. Okay, just want to go through the process. Third is the deepest layer, changing your identity. Changing your identity means changing your belief system, changing your worldview, your judgment about yourself and others. So changing the identity is the most essential part. If you just able to do that, means just change your identity, then above 2 layer, that is process and outcome, will automatically reach. So 2 kind of people exist in this world. You have also discussed about outcome based habit is start from the outcome and go downward. Identity based, if you develop your identity, other 2 will be covered automatically. So you want to say that if you want to, for example sake, that if you want to complete a book, don't think like I have to complete this book, think like I want to become a reader. So in this way, your inner self is going to change. So it's really, you should be flexible in every way. Don't be rigid in your thought, because every day is a learning day. You learn a new thing every day in your entire lifetime. So don't be stuck in one belief system. Always follow the belief system which you prefer, that by learning you find it better way than the other belief system, that past belief system. So changing identity will be most effective than rather than just changing your habit on outcome based. For example sake, some people just study to get good grade on their exams. For that, you just study for the sake of getting good grade on exam. So it's just a outcome based. You're not changing your identity like you want to study. You make it as a brief system that that the study is a part of your life, part of your everyday routine, I would say. So that is the difference. So author have also given some example, like suppose someone asks, you are a non-smoker and someone asks you to have a cigarette with them. So what would you say? You would some people will say that, oh, I am those who are smoker, they would say that I will not take it because I just want to quit. So this is also a outcome based. So he just want to quit. He will convince, he will just take the cigarette because it's outcome based only. It can easily be changed. But if someone say I don't smoke, I am not a smoker, so it's like a behavioral change. So if behavioral is in your self identity that you are not smoker, so it's give more impact. You're getting it what I'm trying to say? So identity based behavior is more superior, far superior than the outcome based behavior. So author want to taught you these things in this chapter. So if you read this chapter, it is really very beneficial to you. Now moving on. So here I also discovered 2 steps to change your identity. How you can change your identity, which is used to repeatedly do anything, everything. Anything means suppose you want to gain muscle. So don't think like I'm working exercise to gain some biceps or something like that. You could just make habit that you want to be a bodybuilder. So in this way you will repeatedly perform the entire process of the system, and you will definitely have also reach the goal, and it will become a part of your good habit, in this manner. Yeah, what have discussed this, so we have discussed about the 2 parts that I have told you. Decide the person you want to be and just work on that part and prove it to yourself by small wins. So prove that you are the kind of person by taking small wins and celebrating small victories. Okay, so in this way you can change your identity. So it's really effective, you guys. Believe me. I have myself in my life, I have implemented these things in my childhood and many today also. Suppose for example I'm pursuing MTech on computer science, so I have to be efficient in coding. So for that part I considered that I am a computer coder. So I just work. Earlier I don't like so much coding in my earlier days, but I just make a habit of perform it repeatedly and just celebrate the small wins and still working on that. I'm actually implementing it practically. So changing an identity is really a way to change the is make a good habit. Always develop a good habit. So in 3rd chapter of fundamentals, we have discussed about how to build a better habit in 4 simple steps. So we have discussed about the 4 simple steps here. You will and the entire book is depend on these 4 things: cue, craving, response, and reward. So these are the 4 things which we have discussed. That in the entire book is depend on these 4 things: cue, craving, response, and reward. So what is meant by cue? You just because of some incident or some environment factor, some thought raised in by neurons in your brain, and this thought tell you that to do this, to perform this, or to start this thing. And when you start this thing, we crave for this thing. And when you crave for this thing, you respond by doing something for that. And doing that response, you also think about the reward, what you're going to get. When you get the reward, you just come back to the response, and then again craving, and again urge, and there will be urge to do that. So it is kind of cycle. The author will discuss actually here. This is called a habit loop. Actually, you can see that cue, craving, response, and in a 4th quadrant it actually 4th quadrant is reward. You can see that cycle. So we also divided this 4 part into two part as problem phase and solution. Problem phase is cue, craving, and solution is response and reward. So when you read further, go further in the depth of this book, you will find the entire book is depend on 4 simple ways for build a better habit. Okay. So he have also given some of the charts. You can refer to these charts to implement in your daily life how you could do this, perform this thing. Okay, so I am again telling you it's operation manual. You have to work for it also. So to apply it this also by going through the step he have shown. If you want to develop a good habit and you are desperately want to break the bad one, So he have divided this four part into four basic laws of behavioral change actually. So first law is cue, second law is craving, third law is response, and fourth law is as reward. So how to create his good habit here, he have just map it as the first law, that's cue, to make it obvious. Second law is craving, to make it attractive, and third law is response, to make it easy, and fourth law is actually reward, to make it satisfying. There should be satisfactory result at the end. Inversion, he have also shown the inversion version, like in the end of every unit, like first law, you will find a chart there. We have discussed the good habit and bad habit also. So good habit is make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. In the opposite manner, for breaking a bad habit, make it invisible, like make it obvious and make it invisible. Or second thing is make it unattractive, third thing is make it difficult, and fourth thing is make it unsatisfying. So hope you're getting this point. When we will read this book, you will come into more into that, and I will just give you a brief review now, all the four laws. Okay, so be with me. Okay, this is I firstly think that I just go through the different chapter and show you the review, but it's better to show you some deeper, go into each and every chapter, so that it will you will more interested in reading this book. Okay, so first law, that is make it obvious. So the man who didn't look right. So in this chapter, author will discuss about how to make a habit obvious actually. So cue of that habit. So you might have seen that some of your habit are automatically, but like you woke up early in the morning, just take a toothbrush and just put the toothpaste and start brushing up, and some of the time you are not fully awake, but you are doing that things. So these are the part of, you could say, is obvious things to do. Means it's just set it in your involuntary things or subconscious mind. Power of subconscious mind. I have used one of the book, that very famous book. In that book also you can find a similar reference, that you can train your subconscious, and it's everyday habit you could perform without thinking on it. So you will come into conclusion directly without having going through the process. So this is the power of habit, power of atomic habit. So author will discuss about all these things in chapter. So how you make it, you don't have to think twice to take a decision. How you can reach that point, by do lot of practice, just make it a habit, your habit. Simple is to say, in a very simplest way, it is very simplest way of saying. Okay, when you go through this, you will learn more. So in the fifth chapter, we have discussed about the best way of start a new habit. So best way of start a make habit is to make just note of it, or just make a chart or timetable of what are the things you want to do, and just repeatedly do everything, and just connect everything one part to another part. This is a very good way to start a new habit. So this is also known as habit stacking, which I am discussing earlier, that you can stack every habit compoundedly to become a great change in your life. So like early in the morning you want to do exercise, so you just do exercise and go to the gym and work out, and after that you need to take a shower. After that you get ready for your job or college something. So everything is stacking of habit. You have to perform this habit with discipline every day, and if you do this, it will be very easier. You will do this every day without even thinking, and it will save you a lot of time. We have discussed about the habit stacking in this way also, how it's performed. Okay, you can see that. Now sixth part is motivation is overrated, environment often matters more. So in this chapter we have discussed about the role of environment actually. So everybody could deny that they could work in every environment, or you read about some extreme person, they can perform anything in any environment. But it's, for most of the guys, it's not the case. Environment really play a vital role shaping your habits. So motivation is overrated is because you cannot be motivated each and every damn day. There will be one day you will feel low in that day. So in that day motivation won't work. You could you could watch any motivational video or read any motivational speaker video, but it will not affect, it will not make any change in that way. You will feel low. So best way is to just change the environment, so that in that way you will not feel low actually. So author will discuss these things in this chapter. So in this chapter he have also discussed about the famous Kurt Lewin equation, like your your behavior is function of a person you are and the environment you are living. And it was really tested on in economic field, in marketing and advertisement. So you will find that whenever you want to, just take an example of, purchasing a cold drink. When you go to cold drink, so they will advertise in such a manner that it will be seems like you are in a great environment when you will drink that, like Mountain Dew, something like that. They make the advertisement like that, you feel energetic, and it just setting your environment around you to make a purchase, actually. So yeah, these are the case, but you could use it in your habits also. It's not a bad thing. So how to design, we have discussed about, also to discuss how to design your habit to achieve your success. How could you just make your environment like that? So for example, just always put a book aside your bed you are sleeping. I used to do it. So in this way you will automatically crave for that thing, and just start reading in every second day, and you will read daily. So it can affect the environment in this way. Suppose you want to study something, you are working, make the environment work like that. Put the distraction away, like your cell phone, or just turn it off and just focus on the work only. So you could, in this way you could easily you will be more easily to focus on your work. So environment really play a crucial role. Don't ignore the environment, author want to say. And I also personally experienced this thing. So in 7th chapter he have discussed about the secret of self-control, how self-control can easily affect your day-to-day life. So this part is somewhat similar to the shaping the environment part also. When you will read, you will come to know more about it. So that was the part of first law, you could say. I have told you at every end of the law, this content, means these units, you will find the how to create a good habit and how to break a bad one, because this book is all about. So you could say the first law, he have discussed about all the things, and for make it invisible part and make it obvious part, you have distinction between them. You can here find a distinction between them, and all the three are unlocked, and when you will further read, it will locked. So it's a very interesting way author have written this book. Now the second law, that is make it attractive. How could you make it attractive actually? So how to make a habit irresistible, that you will hard for you to just not follow that habit. How could you make that? Author have discussed in this part. So he have discussed about the stimuli part here. Stimulus, how stimulus play like animal have preloaded something in their brain. In similar manner, humans are also something preloaded in their DNA. So in this chapter he have discussed about a dopamine driven loop here, driven feedback loop. How dopamine play a very crucial role in your part. Means suppose for example they have done, and this is experimental science we have discussed about. He has given some lab experiment on mice, that the mice have now, in one case the mice have, and the cells of mice are blocked where the dopamine could release, and the mice have lose all the interest in his life. He was not sleeping, he was not moving anything. And in the second part he was artificially given dopamine. So in that case he was just feel energetic, and he just tried to move out of the box, actually bottle nib. So dopamine play very important role in shaping your habit. So we will discuss about this part in a graph. You could say how your dopamine get, earlier your dopamine level is low, but when you get closer to reward, it will automatically high. But in a second time you perform the same thing, you will just get excited early of part and not get very excited at the end. In a similar manner you can just visualize this part, and when you will read board, you will come to know this part. So this is very interesting, actually how dopamine elevation play important role in shaping the habits. So the 9th chapter is the role of family and friend in shaping a habit. You have discussed about some of the friends or the peer you have come in your everyday life, how they are affecting in shaping your life. You have discussed about that part. So here have discussed about the seductive pull of social norms, how we are easily influenced by society and anything that are happening around, and we are eager to do that thing also, and without some other person do that thing without making a judgment also. So author have discussed these things here in this book chapter. Okay. So he have discussed about how people are doing it. So people usually follow the close one, the many one, and the powerful one. The close one is like what your family and friends are doing, you will automatically do the same way. Like for example, suppose someone live in a family that very restrictive, nature. In a most probably you are ending up being in a strict one. So, and if your friend are, most of the friend are your, smoker and drinkers, you will all come to become like them. I'm not saying it really always happen, but most probably you will end up like that. So people as well follow the close one. They have the close one. So it's human nature actually. And the many one is like, like if like it's the majority and minority parts. Like suppose that there is a movie which you don't like. Actually there is no sense in that movie, but most of people think told you that yeah, this movie is great, you watched it, it's awesome, and you will literally ended up watching that, and you will get disappointed actually at the end, because you are following the many of majority of people are suggesting you that good movie, but it might not be good for you. So also I want to say that how the people are fall for the followers or following the many. And the last part is the powerful, that some of the powerful person, like they have achieved something in their life, it's automatic nature of human to follow them. So in chapter 10 here discuss about how to find and fix the causes of your bad habit. So you will find the causes of your bad habit in this chapter and how to fix it actually. He also discussed about how you could reprogram your brain to perform hard habits. So that's what I end up in unit 2. You could see that one more is unlocked in both the part. Okay, so this chat will be very essential. You could just make a photocopy of it and print it in your wall or somewhere where you could see every day. So it will also help in shaping your habit. Okay. Now the third law, that is make it easy. Walk slowly but never backward. You have discussed about that you could slowly do the thing but never backward. Don't like, suppose best example is, suppose you perform 10 push-up today and then 15 push-up tomorrow, and third day you ended up performing 5 push-up. Yeah, you could means run slowly, means you are doing 10, then 15, then 20, then 25, then it's okay, but don't do like that 5, 10 and 5 again. You are getting it? So never run backward, always make a forward loop. Whatever you do more in the next day. And it's not only in affecting your bodybuilding, but it can be essentially any other way of field also. Suppose you want a computer coder, suppose you solve 5 coding questions today, and in the next day perform 6, in the next day perform 7, like that. Don't be like in the next day just you were able to perform 1 question. Yeah, you could do it one time or 2 times, you can miss it because no one is perfect, but try to avoid the thing that you do the same mistake twice. So what we have discussed that part here. So how repetition is, repetition and automaticity is related. So once you do the repetitive work so many times, it will become, the curve will rise and it will be automated. So and the 12th chapter here discuss about the law of least effort. Most of the people in the world follow the path which have least obstacle, or most of the people just do the work which will take least efforts. So in this way, how could you implement this in a habit building part? We have discussed about this in this chapter. So now 13th chapter, we have discussed about how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. So 2-minute rule is actually that here, according to him, that everything can be devised only to 2 minutes. That means every new habit can be break down into 2-minute rule. For example, that if you want to do exercise in the morning, early in the morning, suppose you want to run early in the morning, just put the shoe always beside your, I have tried this one in my real life also, that you want to jog every day, just put the shoe in your beside the bed every day, and you will automatically, it's just two you could say that it will take you 2 minutes to put the shoe there. So but when you wake up and you see the shoe there or the dresses you put there, you automatically it will be triggered in your mind, because you are doing the least effort actually, like the previous chapter, and you will just most of the time you will go for a run. Means you also regard suppose you want to read more books, so just read one page. Like what I used to do, I'm telling you how I read so many books, that I read 4 books at a time actually. So 2 books is for afternoon sleep, when I rest for afternoon sleep, and 2 weeks for night sleep, and I always do 4 pages of each book, sometimes 10 pages if it's very interesting. So in this way I am really able to cover 4 books in a week, or sometimes a month, depending on size of the book. So even if you just perform, even if you read 4 books at 1 month, so 12 months you could read 48 books. So yeah, you could just see the compoundedness. So in this way, you have talked about the 2 minutes rule. Just 2 minutes. Just put the always book aside in bed. I always put my book aside my bed. Or any habit you want to develop. Just try this thing. Okay, 2 minute rule. Now, 14th chapter is all about how to make good habit inevitable and bad habit impossible. So you can learn from the heading itself that inevitable means just do it. It's not no way you can just de-learn those things and make so many means bad habit, increase bad habit make bad habit impossible means just increase level of friction. Always the least effort, people follow law of least efforts. So whenever you increase the friction to perform anything, you will not actually perform that. Suppose you have the habit of early habit to waste two hours of day watching Netflix. So what you could do, you never subscribe to Netflix. In the first place, you increase the friction, like you have to subscribe Netflix, they have to face something, then you will able to watch, then you will able to spend your 2 hours of day, waste your 2 hours a day. So just increase the friction of bad habit and just make it least to least effort or following the 2 minutes rule to the good habits. So all the things I have discussed about, author will discuss about in this part. So now you could say the third law is over now. So you could say it is unlocked, achievement unlocked, you could say, in a game. Now the fourth law, make it satisfying. So you could see that how much till now you could understand how much important is this book in your life. That is, it is really operational manual that author have discussed about. It's very interesting. I'm telling you, it will really change your life. Now the first 15th chapter is all about the cardinal rule of behavioral changes. Here we discuss about the mathematical part, how you can behavioral change affect your life. So here we discuss about the mismatch between the delayed reward and the immediate reward. It's very interesting thing. Most people will crave for the early reward. That people know that smoking might kill in later part of their life, but they want to reach their endorphins on serotonin and or another way feel pleasure. Just smoke at the moment. They are just chasing the immediate reward and not the delayed rewards actually. So in research said that delayed rewards are always good. It is always better than immediate rewards. Like most people will crave for the small time pleasure and then run full of pleasure. Yeah, it's good. Means it's you can affect in a positive way also. So if you you suppose that you are exercising daily, just you could choose a one day for cheat meal and you can do all the things. But if you choose every day as a cheat meal and eat whatever you want and do the exercise, so it will not affect you. It will just deteriorate the effects. So yeah, you can use the immediate reward in some case, but it is better to depend on delayed rewards. These are more effective. Research have shown that. Author have discussed in this part. So in the 16th chapter, we have discussed how to stick with good habit every day. So it's no matter how much motivated, inspired by it, in one day you will feel a boredom. So how to recover when your habit break down? Suppose you are not able to do 10 push-up one day. So what could you think that never repeat it twice? Never don't think that you will not, and make in your mindset that you will not in the second day you will outperform this. Actually, and instead of doing 10 push-ups, do 20 that day. So author have discussed all these things in this chapter. In the 17th chapter, he have discussed how an accountability partner can change everything. He have discussed about 17th chapter. He have discussed about someone just keeping track of a habit. It will actually help you to work more for developing the habit actually. So that was the fourth law, make it satisfying. Work for reward. I have just talked about the distinction between the immediate reward and the delayed reward. So try to able to make a distinction between them. Actually, I know this thing intuitively in my many years, and I perform this thing. I always go for delayed reward in my life in every time. Yeah, some of you might not do that, but yeah, it's good. But don't follow the trend of always following the immediate reward. Yeah, you could go for 1 or 2 days, but not every day. So in this chapter now, the sixth part of this book is advanced tactics. In this, the author will discuss about some of the advanced tactics you could do, including all the four law before that. So truth about talent, why genes matter and why and when they don't. So here we discuss about the role of genes actually. So you could take example, like for example that suppose let me take example like Suppose you have seen from your childhood that your genes are on bodybuilding or weightlifting. You could do, you can excel on that field. But if you have genetics like have the problem solving or intellectual memory, so you could take academic career. So author want to say here, it's not like that you could develop habit in every field. Try to think or have a second thought what your genes say and what your lifestyle says. It means what you want to achieve and make a habit according to it. And what once you achieve is also dependent what are your qualities and what are your, what field you have that all the talents, in other field you don't have the talent. Try to make a distinction between that from an early day. Don't follow trend from a peer or family that they are doing that and they are convincing you to do that and you always do that. Try to analyze yourself, means from your childhood. Some of you might be thinking that how could I do that. In this part, the parents, in this thing, parents play a crucial role. So parents should be always encourage in their children to follow what they are good at actually, and what they are good at can be only performed when they could do experiment. And one person could do experiment on him. Let's try this in every very childhood, and if you could say experiment in that you are giving more outcome in this experiment, try to follow this experiment only and just make a habit, follow the rules of atomic habit in that part only. So I was saying that it is better to work, find your field you are good at and which field you are bad at. So in which field you are good at, you will definitely perform more in that field. So in this way, no one in the world can be follow the one thing and be successful in another field. They always have hidden potential which are waiting, and which if you work on that field you will excel actually. So author have discussed this thing in this chapter. How could you make odds in favor on, how could you find a game where odds are in favor of you. You could author have discussed on how you can really know yourself. So you could do that also, that by asking yourself like this 4 question, like what feel like fun to me but work toward us. What make me to lose track of time? Where do I get more return than average person? What come naturally to me? So ask these 4 questions in a very childhood of you. You will learn this thing. So don't worry that don't think like that your childhood is past. How could you do that? You can still do in your adulthood too. It's not too late. It's never too late. So 19th chapter he have discussed about Goldilocks rule, how to stay motivated in life and work. We have discussed about these things in this chapter. Okay, so you could see the Goldilocks zone is about the boredom and failure. So no matter how good are you will feel a bore one day and another. So what the successful people are different from failure people. If you define success and failure, that they always feel boredom, but they enjoy that part. You have to make a habit of enjoy the boredom. You stick with the habit in no matter what, and it will require a lot of will of course, but you could find a way to enjoy anything. So if a human find in some other way enjoyable, they could also find this way boredom as enjoyable also. Don't consider it boredom. It's all about your mindset actually. Okay, author want to discuss in this. In the last side is downside of creating good habits. Means what a downside is like, it's very hard to get over it. Suppose in last day, let me give you an example. I have a habit of pre-order some food delivery from delivery app. So I pre-order every order. So it was in my habit that I always pre-order and take the delivery once I pick up the delivery from the gate. But in previous day, there was no option to paying online. So I just, because of the habit, I thought that I am paying online. I just get that food from the delivery guy and just say thank you and go away. But then he reminded me, oh, you haven't paid. So this is downside of developing some habit. You just do it repeatedly so many times. Whenever there is change, it's very hard to cope up. It's some downside also, but it's not like that. You could work on that and just enhance the thinking skill, think more on that, and it will automatically balance out. So that was it, guys. That's what the entire review of the book that I have given you. So hope it has encouraged you to read this book, and I'm telling you that if you really go for this book, it's beneficial to your life. You will see the changes dramatically, and the rules he have used is obviously scientifically proven, that I have already tell you in the start of this. So guys, hope you like this review part, and hope you like the way I told you, in the reviews. So if you liking my review videos, and if you want both, so please do like and subscribe my channel. Okay, I normally don't say these things. So hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. I will just continue my reviewing of book. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care.